In this video we'll be going through 15 ways you can save money on your next Japan trip. So this summer me and my wife went to Japan, and these are 15 things I would do different to save money on my trip. Now keep in mind, these are only my experiences and I'm not claiming to be any kind of expert on Japan. I was simply there on a 2-week vacation and would simply do this different if I would go there again. So before we start the video, if you enjoy content that is money related, so like saving money or side hustles or like money challenge, generally self-improvement and creating a business, please make sure to subscribe. We just hit 100 subscribers, which I'm very thankful for, so thank you. Let's start with the video. So let's start with electronics, or more specifically internet connection. So the number one tip I would do is to turn off mobile data. Now this might sound obvious, but I actually did it by mistake, of course. Even if you don't use the device, it can actually cost money, since you're receiving like notifications and messages. And this happened to me. I only had it on for like 1 minute and I got a bill of $40, which is very unfortunate, and I would recommend everybody to turn off your mobile data. And that leads into tip number 2, and that is to avoid physical SIM cards. So for instance, SIM cards that you would buy at the airport. Instead, use eSIMs. So they are electronic SIM cards. Why you should do this is because electronic SIM cards are about 4 times cheaper, and you don't have to worry about losing the SIM card or like destroying the SIM card. So when I was there, I used an app called Airolo, and it was very easy to fill up with new internet, and it was very cheap. It cost about $1 to $2 per gigabyte. So let's move on to transport related tips. And the third way to save money on your Japan trip is to download the Suica card. You can easily add it in your Apple Wallet. Unfortunately, you can't add it to the Google Wallet, so this is only for iPhone users. And you can use the Suica card completely free, and you can use it on all transportation, even in some shops and restaurants. So I would highly recommend it, and it even offers a slight discount in certain areas. So tip 4 is to avoid taxis. Yes, this sounds obvious, but some still do it. So taxi ride costs about 2 to 3 times more than the subway. Since Japan, or especially Tokyo, has such good infrastructure when it comes to the subway, you can easily just use the subway. So in the 11 days we were there, we didn't use the taxi once and it went just fine. So avoid using taxi. Number 5 is to avoid shinkansen. So shinkansen, or the bullet train, is the fastest train in Japan, and in my opinion it's not worth the hype. I thought it would be like this super cool train, but it was just like a regular train and you didn't feel the speed of how fast it went. And it's very expensive. It cost around $100 to $150 per person one way. So it adds up if you're traveling with the Shinkansen. What I would recommend you do instead is use an overnight bus, or take an overnight bus. It costs around $30 to $50 and you save on the hotel since you sleep on the bus. There are also other local trains that are much cheaper, but of course they go a bit slower, but on the upside they are often very traditional and you get a nice view. But if you feel like you have to take the Shinkansen, if you're planning to travel a lot, I would recommend you to look into the Japan Rail Pass. Other alternatives are also to take a flight. There are local flights that cost around $40. So let's move on to food related tips. So tip number 6 to save money on your Japan trip is to shop at 7-Eleven. Now there are great prices and you can buy your breakfast and snacks there, and every night after 8 there are sales, often like 50% or half the price. If you're going to buy some food at night, you can go to 7-Eleven and get half the price of them. Tip number 7 is to don't tip. And if you are from America, you have the tipping culture, but in Japan there is no tipping culture. In fact, it can be seen as rude if you tip so this would both save you some money and not be rude. So don't tip. Okay, so let's move on to accommodations and hotels. So tip number 8, don't spend a lot of money on expensive hotels. Since in Japan there is a very high standard, and even if you buy a cheaper hotel, you will get a high standard with a clean room. So we aimed for paying $60 to $80 per room per night. Even in Tokyo this was possible, and it's not really necessary to be in the exact center of Tokyo. You can be a bit outside of the center, since the subway is so good and the infrastructure is so good. After all, it's just a place to sleep at. Tip 9, you don't have to sleep at a capsule hotel. I know this has been a trend lately where you sleep in these capsule hotels, but honestly they are often more expensive or the same price as a cheap hotel. And keep in mind also, men and women are separated, and so for me and my wife this wasn't even an option. So let's move on to shopping. So tip number 10 is to use the tax-free. So many don't even know about this tax-free, and it's only for tourists, and many shops has a tax-free if you spend over 5,000 yen, and you get a 10% discount. But just remember, if you do this, you have to declare it when you're flying home. And we did this and it was no problem. So let's move on. Tip number 11, control your shopping habits. So I know when you're in Japan, there are many figurines and Pokemon cards and things that you would like to spend your money on. But just remember, you can buy it online, often for the same price. Tip number 12 is to shop at Don Quixote. So especially if you're in Tokyo, don't miss this store. It has everything. It has snacks, beauty products, it has souvenir things, it has everything, and to a very good price, very cheap. So for instance, my wife, she loves beauty products, and she got some beauty products 2 to 3 times cheaper when we can get at home. So by that way we saved a lot of money. So I would highly recommend shopping here if you're looking for especially beauty products. So let's move on to some activity related things you can save money on. So number 13 is to download the Klook app, and this is for any activity. If you're going to, as we did, go for a riverboat ride in Kyoto or going to Mount Fuji, you can download this app and often get a 5 to 10% discount. And these are all kind of activities, so I would recommend you download the Klook app. So tip number 14 is there are a lot of shrine and temples. But the thing is, sure, they are beautiful, but many of them kind of look the same, or they are very beautiful, but after visiting some temples you get kind of blind to the beauty. And in my experience they cost often 500 yen in entrance, and we visited about 20 temples, which really adds up if it costs 500 yen. So what I would recommend is to choose a few that you want and maybe go to some free ones. So the last tip, number 15, these are some honorable mentions. So if you want to get some cash, currency exchanges at hotels often has a fee. So what we did, we went to 7-Eleven and just took out money there. And in my experience, 7-Eleven had the lowest fees. So this one is also kind of obvious, but tourist spots like markets are often price inflated. So they are more expensive, and many know this. We still went to some markets and enjoyed some food, but maybe, and this, I know this is still a part of the experience of visiting Japan. And if you like food, go ahead and spend your money, but at least know these are more expensive. So when you're visiting Japan, you will see vending machines everywhere, and just know these are about 20 to 30% more expensive than, like, for example, 7-Eleven. But that's also the thing with vending machines, they are very convenient. So for example, we went on a mountain hike and we didn't bring enough water, but luckily there were vending machines that we can buy water from, so they are very convenient. So if you have watched this far, thank you for watching, and if you, as I said, if you like this type of content, please subscribe, and please watch this video where I try a 30-day YouTube short challenge and try to grow as much on YouTube shorts as possible. So thanks for watching, goodbye.